Welcome back. I know it's been a really long time since I've been on here, and a lot has happened over the last few weeks. Everybody's being affected by one thing, which is the coronavirus. In Charlotte, where I am, we are now effective today. We are on lockdown, so they really want us to stay home. Other than going to like the grocery stores, the banks, essential stores. So this really allowed me to sit down and record some overdue shows. Prior to this, one of the reasons why I haven't been able to record was I was going through some family issues. I had some death in the family. I was in a car accident. So those were the reasons why I have not been able to record. So I'm feeling better now. And now that I'm being quarantined into the house, I'm able to record again. I'm able to get on a more consistent schedule. I am getting my schedule together as far as what shows I want to continue to record and review and so on and so forth. So I want to finish up with the shows that I was previously recording and continuing. I want to finish up with Life After Lockup, which is what I'm getting ready to review now, because that show did wrap up. So I want to wrap that one up. I do believe that they're going to be doing a new season of that coming this summer. So I know I'm going to be reviewing that once that comes back. I'm also going to continue to do Love and Hip Hop. That's going to be the next show that I'm going to do after this one. That wraps up the Love and Hip Hop Miami. That one is wrapping up. So I'm going to do that. And I am also going to start doing Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And I'm still working on what else I'm going to be adding since these two shows have ended. That leaves me with just one. And I like to try to keep at least 2 to 3 shows at a minimum that I'm reviewing. So, with that being said, anything that you guys would like to see me review, or anything you want to talk about, let's get it on the books. Because we have nothing but time on our hands now, you guys. Everyone is going to be at home. So, let's just get into this review. It's the final 2 episodes of the season of the Life After Lockup. I'm going to go ahead and start with Tony and Angela. And again, this is going to be 2 episodes. So, Tony and Angela. This whole season I haven't had a whole lot to talk about with Tony and Angela. They ended the season with a little bit of a bang. They are planning the wedding. Angela is going through with it. I figured she would go through with it, but it's kind of like, okay, if you like it, I love it. Let's do it. Let's get it done. So they planned a beach wedding. I like the concept of a beach wedding. I feel like it's simple. It's nice. You have a nice view. It looks like it's a very inexpensive situation. The only problem with the beach wedding would be if it rained. Then you have a problem. That's when you have to have a plan B, just in case it rains. But this one looks like it's going to work out for them. Now, of course, they go to view the wedding, the scenery as far as the setup. And the coordinator's asking, who's going to be a part of your wedding party. And Angela tells the coordinator, well, I have my party, but Tony doesn't have anybody really to be in his party. Tony lets Angela know, I do actually have a best man. I have a friend from prison named Andre that I'm going to have come and be a part of my crew. And Angela looked at him like, who is Andre? And why am I just not hearing about him? And what do you mean he's a buddy from prison? I'm not okay with this. I don't want you to be hanging out with somebody from prison. You have a bad track record, honey. You stay in trouble. No. he can't be a part of this. And he was like, well, this is my friend. I want him here. So Angela agrees, fine. He can be in the wedding, but just the wedding. I don't need you talking to him before the wedding. I don't need you talking to him after the wedding. Since when does Tony listen to Angela? Tony was like, sure, babe. You got it. It'll be just for the wedding. After the wedding, I'll let him go. That is not what happens. So, of course, with any wedding, you tend to have a bachelor party and a bachelorette party. So, Tony's friend Andre comes into town. Andre looks like the type that has, I hate to say this, but he looked like he don't did some time. Andre has 7 teeth in his mouth, and the 7 teeth in his mouth are gold plated and they have jewels in them. He has like 4 up here and like 2 to 3 down. He literally has like 2 or 3 teeth at the bottom. He is gumming it. He's gumming through life. And I wanted him to keep his mouth closed. But he continued. He's one of them people that, you only have 7 teeth. And why with 7 teeth, why do you insist on being the person that wants to talk like this? You want to continue to talk like you want to emphasize with your mouth. And you want everybody to see that you got 7 teeth. I would be a little embarrassed if I had 7 teeth. I'd be talking like this. I want to talk with my mouth like this because I don't want everybody to see that I don't have all of my teeth. Or I wouldn't talk a whole lot at all. That's the other option. You could just talk not a whole lot. But no. That's not what Andre does. Andre wants everybody to know that he's in the room. So Andre, Tommy, and Tony go to the strip club. Typical guy thing. Typical bachelor idea. Tommy is basically there to spy for Angela. She kind of sent him, but of course Tommy had no problem going because he still doesn't really trust Tony, and still in the back of his mind he has some hopes that him and Angela can be together one day in the future. I need him to let that go. Angela does not want him in that sense. So at the strip club, the conversation comes up about the fact that Tommy does have feelings for Angela. And Andre basically kind of lets him know, like, well, they're getting married. You need to let that go. Like, don't stand in their way, because, if you stand in their way, you're going to get crushed. Like, it's going to be a problem. This is my boy, and I'm here. I had nothing else to say about that conversation because it was like end scene. So Tony gets a private dance. My thing is, that your fiance has issues with you from cheating in the past and so on and so forth. Why would you go and get a private dance? You probably should try to be doing everything that you can to. It's the day before your wedding. You shouldn't do anything to jeopardize your relationship at this point. But he goes and gets the private dance. And of course, Tommy goes over there with his phone, taking pictures, and sends it to Angela and is like, look what your man is over here doing. Angela shows up to the strip club and she breaks up the party. She's like, this is it. You're coming home with me. And he goes home with his fiance because he knows what's best. He knows he needs to be with her. So they go ahead. They end up making up. She apologizes. She was like, I apologize. I did overreact. I know I have to trust you. And I'm like, no, you don't have to trust him. He's made mistakes. You're justified for the way you reacted. But nonetheless, she forgives him. They talk it out. They start getting ready for the wedding. The wedding was a beautiful wedding. I will give them that. They go on with the wedding. And, of course, when they get to the part of, in the vows, the whole wedding ceremony part, and they say, is there anyone here that feels that these two should not be wed? I feel like, why do they do that? Why do they say that? No one said anything. They go through, the whole ceremony's done, and then 48 hours later, we find out that Tommy gave a toast at the ceremony. And basically he was just saying, you two are two crazy MFers, and I love you both, and I'm happy for you. And he just basically took the higher road. 48 hours later, the producers are talking to Angela, and she's upset because she says that she has seen messages in Tony's phone that he's been talking to prostitutes. Again. Angela kicks him out, and he is now staying in a hotel. And that is that's where we ended with the Angela and Tony saga. I hope that is where we end with the Angela and Tony saga. I hope they don't bring them back next time around, but I feel like in my spirit that they're going to be back whenever they bring this group of people back. Now, Shane, Lacey, and John. Lacey is riding around with John, and basically John is really pushing her to kick Shane out. He's like, why are you entertaining this little boy? Why are you in the house playing nice with him? You know, I know you're just playing cool with him and you're kumbaya-ing with him. You need to kick him out. He needs to get out. And she's like, I know, I'm just trying to keep the peace. And he was like, I don't see why you're trying to keep the peace. It's time for him to go. Listen, John wants him out so he can move in because he wants somewhere to stay too. John is acting like Shane's a little boy and so on and so forth with no place to go. But, John, you don't really have no place to go either. I mean, you're in a facility too. I mean, you have your family, but I feel like Shane has family too. So really, neither one of y'all are like staying on your own, but okay. So Lacey goes home finally. She picks a fight with Shane, and she was just like, you know, I'm so upset with you. You lied to me. You know, how could you do this to me? You know, after everything that we've been through, I was honest with you. I told you my situation, but you didn't tell me yours, and then you go and cheat on me, and then you still marry me. What kind of man are you? Shane is confused because he's like, we were just okay last night. Like, we were sleeping in the bed. Where have you been all day? What caused you to come home and have this conversation with me? And I understand where he's coming from, because it's like, if you left this morning and we were okay, and now here you come back home and now you're big mad. What changed from the time you left to the time you came home? What changed was you've been riding around with John, and John done got in her ear. So John is sitting outside waiting, and as Lacey is saying it, oh, he's just out there in case things go left when I go in here and tell him that he has to leave. No, that's not why he's sitting out there. He's sitting out there because he wants to be messy, and that's what happens. She gets in this big argument, she gets upset in her feelings, and then she storms out the house, and Shane follows her like, no, let's talk about this. No, don't run out. I'm talking to you. And when he gets outside, he sees John. John's over here with this smirk on his face like, yeah, daddy's home. Yeah, yeah. These three, I've been over Lacey. I've been tired of her. I just think that she's just so immature to be at her age and to have such responsibility as far as having these children, and as she say, holding down a household and the whole nine. if you wanted the man gone, you should have just sat down and told him, listen, I was upset that you cheated on me and I would like to move on. What you shouldn't have did was what you did, and you darn sure shouldn't have moved on back to your ex. Just be by your darn self. But you're an insecure little girl and you can't be by yourself, so therefore you was like, I gotta have somebody here. And that's pretty much how she was saying it. Like, I'm not gonna ruin one thing and then miss out on this opportunity with this person. Like, she doesn't want to be by herself. So instead of being the woman about it and having a conversation, she brings John in to get Shane out because she can't be woman enough to get him out on his own. I don't feel like Shane would have did anything to her if she would have just said, I need you to go. Yeah, he would have eventually left, but he just wanted to know why all of a sudden now are you so insistent that I go? Because you hadn't been telling me to go before. We've been fine. What changed? I just want to know. So, of course, John and Shane, they going back and forth. They fighting. And Lacey's just sitting there like a dodo bird. Eventually, he does start packing up his stuff. John's making jokes at him like, oh, look at you. You're such a little boy. You don't even have real luggage. You're putting your stuff in garbage bags. I mean, the guy did just start working not too long ago. So, I mean, he did get out of jail. I mean, he was in prison or whatever for a while. So he did just start working. He has been helping her take care of her kids. So it's not like he was out spending money on himself. He was spending money on the household. It was dumb and childish. So he left. And I guess John will be moving back in. We'll probably see this couple again too next go round. And she'll be probably complaining about him. And got another dude on the side. So we'll see how that goes. Tracy and Clint. Clint goes home to talk to Tracy. And he's expressing how he loves her and he really wants her to get help. And he's telling her that I don't want to leave you, but I just want a wife who wants to get help. Tracy's like, I don't care. I don't want to get no help. I'm not going to rehab. I don't want it. In the middle of this conversation of them going with this argument, they're going back and forth. Clint does the craziest thing and starts punching himself in the face. I mean, punching himself in the face. And I'm looking like, you have to be on something to do that. What sane, sober-minded person would punch themselves in the face unless you're trying to set somebody up? Now, I could see that. Like, if you're trying to set somebody up to call the police on them and be like, oh, they hit me, but it was really you. Like, he would be running into the doors and stuff to create a bruise and be like, oh, see this? I'm bruised up. See, they hit me. You see this bruise they call? I was like, now, Clint, if you're trying to set this girl up to make it seem like she's been beating on you, when really you the one punching yourself in the face like you silly. So, Clint calls his mom like he always does. And he's just like, Mom, she won't go. Tracy's like, yeah, call your mom, your little mama's boy, call her. Yeah, let it all be my fault as usual. Their relationship is very toxic. Like, I've been saying it this whole time. They just need to let it go. Just stop. Just stop. You just walk away. But in the middle of it, all of a sudden, everything just shifts. And Tracy's like, I do love you. I do want to be a better person. I do want to get help. And Clint was like, that's all I wanted. You know, and they start talking about her having an abortion and how that affected them. And now that she wants to get help, he says he will stay with her, and he's going to stay with her all the way through all of this. So they do drive down to the rehab center. And on the way there, Clint's mom calls and talks to Tracy and tells Tracy how proud of her she is and that she has her support. That's all she wanted her to do. She just wanted her to go and get help. So they get there to the rehabilitation center. Tracy checks in. They say after 24 hours, she checked back out. I was disappointed when I first seen that. But then they said she did return back to the center for a 45-day program. So hopefully she stayed the whole 45 days. It didn't say anything further. I guess if they bring them back next time, we'll see if she did complete the program. But we do know that she was going to have a trial date one way or another regardless. So hopefully she did the whole program, because that could only help her trial date, because she's going to court. So the next couple, Brittany and Marcelino. So Brittany was previously upset about Marcelino lying about the money and the gambling and needing help. So she had called her friend Amanda to talk to her about what had happened, about him lying about what was going on with him. And she told her friend Amanda. And her friend Amanda was like, well, that wasn't right for him to do that. He should have just told you. I mean, that's a part of being in a relationship. You have to tell your partner everything that's going on with you, good or bad. No, you don't like talking about bad things. You would prefer to talk about the good things. But sometimes bad things happen in a relationship, and you have to discuss those things. So they're outside of the prison where her other friend is currently at. And while they're there, Brittany's like yelling out, saying, tell her I love her. And the other prisoners are looking up like, girl, bye. But she says she comes to visit the prison sometimes because it just reminds her of how far she's come. And it just, reminds her to stay focused and why she worked so hard, for her kids, and that she does not want to go back to that lifestyle. And I understand that, if you've ever been through something, you have those things, those mementos or places that you might go to gain your focus and to get your priorities straight. And that was just her place. Now, she had also been fighting to try to get access to the cases from her children's court cases, her first two kids, so that she could begin her search of trying to get in touch with them, find out where they are, because they did end up going to foster care and so on and so forth. But she found out that she got denied, so they're not going to allow her to access those court records. So that was a little upsetting for her, but she says she's not going to stop trying. She is going to continue to try to pursue getting this because she wants to find her children. They also did a gender reveal party for the baby. They are having a baby boy. Little Gino was very excited because before they did the reveal, they asked him what did he want, and he said that he wanted a baby brother. So he's getting a baby brother. And it left off on a good note for them, I'm happy that they came back together. Her and Marcelino did talk. She did tell him, you have to talk to me. You can't keep trying to do this all on your own and think that you were not going to be able to communicate with me. You have to tell me when you're going through stuff. And he agreed and he understood. So that couple, I would not mind seeing again. I like Marcelino and Brittany. I genuinely feel that Marcelino loves Brittany and she loves him back. This is the one solid couple that's on the show for me. I want to talk about Andrea and Lamar. So Andrea and Lamar, they are still, this whole season, they have been debating on where to live. It's like the big topic they've been having. They have finally decided that the way we're going to determine this is we're going to do a family vote. We're going to let everybody weigh in. It's no longer going to be just between the parents. Let's just let everybody have a say-so. Now, at first, the kids were not happy about that because they felt like, well, that's not fair because it's like you're making us decide for you because you as the adults can't come to the decision, and it's kind of putting pressure on us. So it's like if we decide, one of you are going to be upset and it's going to be our fault. And they didn't want that on them, but they agreed to go ahead and do it. So Andrea assured the kids that's not what's going to happen. Regardless of whatever decision we come to, we're going to love you guys and we're going to be supportive as a family and we're going to be happy. So they sit down, they do the vote, and the results come back that they're all going to LA. Tennyson was hesitant about moving to LA as well because of what his mother was saying about the whole safety. He understood because he was like, as a young black man, he understands that in our climate today that there is situations where he could be put at risk. Especially in LA, he was like, he understood what his mother's concern was. So he did vote to not move to LA. However, he says that he would support the family in moving because he knew that it would be the best for his sister who wanted to move out there for her to pursue her dreams in school and dance. So he wasn't upset about the decision to move to LA. Of course, Andrea was upset because she was just like, she just wants to keep her family safe. She doesn't want anything to happen to her kids. And I understand that. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter where you live. Something can happen to you no matter where you live at. You can live in the safest city in the world and something can happen to you. It just can. I'm not going to sit up here and say all the ways something can happen to you because I just don't want to put that out there. But yeah, anything can happen. I mean, look at what's going on right now in the world. We got Corona going around. It wasn't something anybody expected to happen, but it's here. So after everything kind of calmed down and Andrea got over it, she let Lamar know that, well, since this is what we're doing, here are my expectations for us as a couple. She was like, she wants another baby. And she told him the time frame. She was like, I want a baby and I want it ASAP. So he was like, oh, I don't have no problems, helping to start working on that. So that is where they left off. They're going to be moving back to LA. They're going to start working on having a baby. And everything is happy. Now, that is the other couple that I am happy about. I'm glad they finally came to a resolution. So Andrea and Lamar and Marcelino and Brittany, they're really the only couples on the show. And the last people, and I always save them for last because they are really the most draining, and it takes all the energy in me to talk about them. And that is Michael, Megan, Sarah, and Maria. They never changed the titles for them, but they should have because it became a foursome. So, it left off with Maria yelling at Sarah outside of the hotel. She was calling Sarah a hoe and all of this other stuff. And Michael was trying to calm her down, trying to get her to go back inside. And Sarah's just sitting out there like she's the innocent one, just calmly. I'm not yelling. I'm not doing all that. That's you. I don't do that. I don't yell. I don't fight. I don't do that. Yeah, you do. Sarah, yeah, you do. You're just trying to act like you're the classier one today, but you do. So Sarah gives Michael an ultimatum on the spot. She was like, it's either her or me and your kids. You go with her or you come with me. And you come see your kids and say goodbye, because he was leaving the next day. At that point, Maria decides to let her know, he only married you for convenience. He don't want to be with you. He never wanted to be with you. He was only marrying you for convenience because you had those kids. And it's like, yeah, we know that, but it's like, really, Maria, you ain't been here but for a minute. I just feel like you shouldn't be so opinionated. Maybe you should just go back inside. So Sarah calls Maria a bitch. Hotel management comes outside and says that they're disturbing the guests. And for whatever reason, that's when Michael decides that he needed to turn up. He's like, don't get in my face. Don't come and be talking to nobody that I'm with. Don't touch me. He's all hype. He's doing all this. Don't nobody touch me. Don't nobody touch me. I don't know what set him off, but something set him off. So he's like, went from 0 to 1,000. Not 100, not 10. 1,000. He's running around the parking lot. So next thing you know, somebody said the police is getting called. So Sarah's like, Michael, they're calling the police. Get in my car now. Meanwhile, Maria's like, no thank you, boo-boo. You get in your car and you go. I got him. We got a ride coming up. I'm just like, what are y'all doing? Michael, have you not got tired of getting in trouble? Y'all are fighting over this dude in the parking lot, and it's... So the van comes up. Michael and Maria get in the van, and he just pulls off and leaves Sarah sitting right there standing by her car. And then she starts crying, and she's like, oh my God, he chose her over me. Like, he chose her over me and the girls. No, he just left with her. He wasn't choosing. It wasn't even about the girls. He wasn't even thinking about the girls at that time. So, of course, she took it that way. See, he's not even concerned about his girls. He's leaving tomorrow. He's not even get to say goodbye to his girls. I don't know next time he's going to... it just... Yeah. So now she's in her feelings. But before, you was okay with sleeping with him. And you on camera telling everybody, that's my man. She's the one, who's cheating on who. Because I'm the wife. You're the side chick. You had all this energy and all this rah, rah, rah. But now he gets in the car and pulls off with the other girl. Now all of a sudden it's... Oh my God, I can't believe he would leave with her and just gonna leave me with these girls. Girl, stop. So Michael decides that he's gonna go back to Texas to talk to Megan, because he had told Megan he was gonna come back and see her. Megan's in the studio singing. And then I'm trying to get past her singing. Okay, Megan, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible. So Megan's just like, oh, hey, stranger, like, good to see you. What you doing here? He was like, well, I told you I was going to come see you. I just want to let you know that I've been seeing somebody. I'm in a relationship. Naturally, she gets upset because she's like, well, how long you been in a relationship? And he was like, well, I've been in it for a while. And she's thinking in her head, like, how could you be in a relationship with somebody else and you saying that you in love with them when me and you've been in a relationship and you've been saying that you love me? So how are you in a relationship with two people? And you got a wife. How does that happen? Where they do that? Apparently here with you. So, of course, she gets upset and she walks off. She was like, I'm done. And Michael his whole attitude was like, I'm glad I had a conversation with her. I feel better now that I've had a conversation with her. At least now she knows where I stand. I can cut her off. I hope that we can remain friends, though. And She's like, I don't want to be friends with you. I don't. So it ends with Michael living in Miami with Maria and talking about, this is the relationship that he wants to be in. But then it shows Sarah up here taking a pregnancy test, talking about, oh my God, this can't be happening. So if this heifer is pregnant for the third time, I can't. I'm lost. I'll be damned. So I don't know who's going to come back next season when they do the Life After Lockup. But like I said, they have a brand new cast coming in for the Love After Lockup season. So we'll see who these people will be. But I'm happy to see some of this. I'm happy to see this end because I was getting very tired of a lot of these couples. But thank you guys for your patience and understanding. I will definitely be back to a regular routine. And I'm going to put out 2 more videos today because I have 2 more shows to catch up on. And I will see you guys very shortly.